just a boy. Christmas brought so much joy. Couldn't wait for the presents and laughter. I couldn't sleep late at night, looking for Santa with lights. Those are the memories I still remember. Then I became a man, lost sight of who I am, but right in front of me was the answer. 'Cause on Christmas I feel joy, and I turn back to a boy. The answer is to stay young forever. This is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song, this is not a Christmas, this is not a Christmas song.
Hello, Star Wars fans. You know, there are just 348 days until Christmas 2024. 2024. Oh my goodness, it's the countdown has begun, and I've got some audio wonkiness going on. Jason and I were visiting before the show. I could hear him, I couldn't hear him, I couldn't hear him, then I could hear him, and just during that intro, no music. So hopefully you guys heard the intro song. It seems that maybe you did. Maybe I just didn't. And well, of course, we have Matt Risman in there, causing problems, stirring the pot. In fact, Matt Risman has been chiming this bell so much, it made it into our thumbnail today. Can you believe it? It made it into the thumbnail. So, Matt Risman, good to see you, my friend. But we're going to talk about this just a little bit, this delayed nonsense. But I've got my friend Jason Ward here. How are you doing, Jason?
I'm good. I heard the song.
You heard the song? Okay, just me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got to work with some stuff and get it all working out. But hey, good to see you here today. It's been quite the week, and I see aggressively relaxing. He said, I heard it. So very good. Before we start, you see, I've got Vader's lair up here in the corner. I've got Sheev's background right here. And that's just as a reminder that our good friend Sheev was in a pretty severe accident in the last week. It was just last weekend. And he is now home. He is recovering. But the guy is pretty banged up. And he's got a bit of a road ahead of him to get back on his feet to do his full-time job. So there's a GoFundMe in the link to help with some of his expenses. His car is a piece of scrap. His phone is it probably embedded somewhere into the inner workings of the car. And so there's just tons of things that Sheev's got ahead of him. So I've put the GoFundMe link in the chat. I've got his logo and his background here, just as a reminder that Sheev's still on the mend. So Sheev, take care.
Help him. He'll be strong enough to pull the ears off a Gundark. That's what they said on the Star Wars movie I saw. I guess they did.
That is what they said. And we're expecting our friend Meg to join us here shortly as well. She said she would be available today. So hopefully we get Meg on, and
I'm going to wrestle her. It's going to be like a fight. So if she shows up.
Yeah, maybe she's too scared. I don't know. Meg's great. And so we've had a lot of stories in this last week that came out, and there's a couple of things related to these stories that I want to bring up. And I was talking to you a little bit, but just before we came live, and I realized, hey, it's time to start this show. So the point is, we get some stories, and then people make inferences off the stories, and then the inferences become news. And hey, there's Rob Sketchcraft. Well, hey, thank you for the super chat, Rob. Uh-oh. Okay, my screen flickered off there for a second. It says, so glad you both agree Ray Parker Jr.'s Ghostbuster wins over Bobby Brown's On Our Own. You both made the right choice.
Whitney Houston didn't die to be with the original Ghostbusters guy. She died to be with the second Ghostbusters guy. That's all we need to know.
Again, I find myself siding with Rob, but Jason, you've got questionable taste.
Too hot to handle, too cold to hold. Call the Ghostbusters and they're in control. Come on.
No. You've got questionable taste. It's been proven. You proudly announced that
hanging out with you and Meg all day. Yes, you are correct.
That is a big. That's a big red flag right there.
Red flags.
I can't believe that you're still hating on Phil Collins after all those hits he's written, all that fantastic movie. The score to Tarzan alone is a reason to be a fan of Phil Collins.
He didn't make it in the Ghostbusters because he wasn't good enough. Wasn't good enough for the GB fans out there.
So your music choices are clearly off. So
John Lennon is like a once in a lifetime artist, and you think?
I think he's a communist. Well, he was, but anyway, a liberal.
Oh man, there we go. The lines have been drawn. Good work, Rob. 2 minutes into the show, I already had to go mess it up.
Oh my gosh!
Can somebody ban Best? Can a mod ban Bespin Bulletin? This trolling will not be tolerated. This is a family-friendly show here. We don't mention Fallout Boy, okay?
This is good. Hey, we're going to be referencing Bespin Bulletin a lot on today's show.
Just going to be fraud. Don't do it. You serious?
He's, the guy covers Star Wars. He does a great job, and he needs more recognition and he needs more support. So we're gonna share, and we'll try to drum up as much support for him as we can, because he's a good guy. He's a good guy, and I like him. So I don't care what Jason.
That's a pretty good. 50% of the people on this panel like you, Bespin. Think about it. Now it's my show. Now that it's my show, I think this is what we call Jason's Corner. This is where we come over and we say, "Look, Bespin, I wanted to play Fortnite. I asked you to play twice yesterday, twice, and you were like, oh, I'm fighting the plague, blah blah blah, me so sick, and so on, and so we didn't get to. It's just the way it goes. But man, took Jason's Corner away already. All right,
I did. I messed up. That's what I did. Yeah. I don't know what I'm doing.
You don't want you to hear what I had to say. Trust me, it was good.
Hey, Sabersmith says his kids say hello. Good to see you, Sabersmith. We're gonna cover a lot of Bespin stories. So let me. I was trying to share the screen, and I clicked out, and all of a sudden, haywire, mayhem took place, and
the elves are gonna pay for that error. We're gonna pay.
So Alex asks, what's your favorite Star Wars movies? Well, Alex, you're gonna start another fight. Because Star Wars fans are not of one voice.
Hey,
right?
Hey Santa, do you know what C-3PO would call Alex Bates?
No.
Master Bates. Come on. He would say it.
Oh my gosh.
That was for you, Mike Porter.
That was Mike Porter is in the chat.
Love you, Mike Porter and Alex. Sorry to make fun of your name. I mean no harm.
I'm an OT guy, right? I'm the OG, right? I'm the original trilogy.
OT. Are you an OT OG?
I am an OT OG. The original trilogy for me is always going to be top, and then I'm with a big group of folks who think The Empire Strikes Back is the best Star Wars there is. But the original trilogies for me. After the original trilogy comes the sequel trilogy for me, and after the sequel trilogy comes the original trilogy. Mm-hmm. And if there's anything else that you want to throw in, that goes before the prequel trilogy as well. So that's for me. I just I don't. There's a lot about the prequels I still don't enjoy, but that's me. Jason, I assume you're an original trilogy guy as well.
It's kind of weird. Until the sequel trilogy, I was like a third film guy. Like Return of the Jedi, that's the one that came out when I was like 3 to 4 years old. Like that was like I was like a little kid. That was like the big deal. And then I'm like the only guy who still likes Star Wars for years in my little thing. But then Revenge of the Sith. But I don't really care for 9. So it kind of breaks that little pattern for me. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's just more like I probably would go Return of the Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, and The Last Jedi. Like that's kind of like my top 3, which is a weird one. It doesn't really make sense, but that's what I like.
Yeah, and that's what's fair is that we can have different opinions. And Rizman's still in the chat causing problems. That's what he does. He causes problems. So we've got a bunch of stories, and what I want to do is we'll just use Bespin's stories to help drive the discussion.
Wouldn't it be more succinct though if we just went to Reddit and read people paraphrasing it for us?
Sure.
Oh, okay.
That's absolutely the most accurate way to get your Star Wars is right off of the Reddit leaks. That's the best one.
That's how I form my opinions about most things.
The Reddit leaks, those are gold. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Everybody should use that as their gospel. That's because they're always right. So the point here is and Bestman posted this last Friday. We did a live stream last Friday. We were kind of aware of this story. We talked about it a bit. That Rosario said, "Hey, I haven't heard anything about another season of Ahsoka." So, of course, the story comes out.
Maybe you should open your ears.
Yeah. Oh
wait, she doesn't have any. Look at her. She literally doesn't have ears. So, sorry.
But
don't be ableist on this show.
In any event, what we have is a bunch of stories ran. Ahsoka season 2 canceled. Rosario Dawson confirms. Right, but that's not the story. That's not like if you go back and you watch. Bestman over under 10% that Santa reads any story.
2%.
There's one way to increase that percentage, Bestman, and you know how to do it. There's a rule. Like if you want me to read your stories, you got to come on. If you don't, then I get to make up whatever your stories say because that's what the internet does, right? That's what the internet does.
Yeah, get on.
What we do is we take Bestman's stories or Jason's stories and we just read the headlines and make up what it says on the inside. We don't need to read it.
You know what he says? He says, I got pandemic. I got pandemic. Can't come on.
Bestman, you lie. He lies. I'm never asked to come on. Again, more lies. Every day. More
I asked him on my show yesterday, and you were like, I got pandemic. Come on. Top of the day to you, governor. And I was like, oh, right, man.
In our Discord DM chat, right? We've got a small DM chat where we plan the show, and we talk about things that you're there. Meg's there. Bestman is there.
Yeah. Oh, and he reads it because he told me, he's all, oh, you didn't answer me, but you answered Santa.
Yeah.
I got that today because.
Where's the invite? It's literally in the Discord there, my friend. It's in the Discord.
I feel like Bestman is my C-3PO and I'm his R2-D2 some days. I think that's what today was a little bit like.
Is that it?
He's like calling me a bucket of bolts and kicking me.
And I believe it's like, it's third up from the bottom, Bestman. There's only 2 things like right after it. So, no excuses. Like, oh, I can't use Discord because why? Hey.
Yeah.
You could. Oh no, Baymax is in a mood. So
card. You seen that old Topps card? Yeah, but not it's like, nah, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, Santa.
You get these stories. People read we're sort of making a point here, right? So Rosario did an interview. Somebody asked her. She says, "Oh, I haven't heard anything." So then people run with it. And if you watch the Star Wars news, the Reddit, the YouTube, the Twitter, everybody comes out and says, well, not everybody, but there's this huge wave of information that comes out that says, "Hey, are we doing the beard thing here?"
We are.
Yeah. This is.
I mean, that's why I made myself baby Santa, because I'm like, look at my little beard. Look at this little thing. I mean, you try. It's like, okay, for beards,
you need to graduate up to the full roller.
Yeah,
you got to grow out.
No, I'm not a full roller. I'm just this little Viking beard thing that they made me get made out of wood. But look how big his is. Mine is so tiny. I got a little baby beard. That's why I'm baby Santa today. That's why I made my name Baby Santa.
Oh my gosh! So the wave of news comes out that says Ahsoka 2 is canceled, confirmed by Rosario Dawson. It's because people have their own sort of spin on Star Wars news, and anything that will support their narrative, they'll run with.
Right.
So this is. There you go.
Okay, he is.
Yeah, there he is. Oh, look at that. What?
Yeah.
Bespin, thanks for joining the show. But what's up with that? What's up with that icon image on there?
It's my favorite picture in existence at the moment. when it occurred last week, I was like, "That's it. That's my personality now. That's my life." Do you know an artist called DJ Khaled, by any chance?
No.
He has an album cover called "Suffering from Success," and this makes me think of that. And I need that Photoshop to exist. I need it. Rob needs to do it for me because he's the only one talented enough out of the three of us.
No, there's somebody else that's quite talented.
Baymax can do it.
But Baymax is the Photoshop king. Like,
okay.
He's your guy.
Baymax.
Yeah,
Baymax is your guy. He has abused my images in the past, and he's happy.
What way is he being abusing these images?
In any way that is requested.
Same way as Alex Bates, or
he's always happy to assist in making embarrassing Photoshop pictures of pretty much anybody. So yes, yeah. Jedi Mike put on there. Yeah, it's Baymax is responsible for the Santa thong.
One time I was like really hungry on a stream, and I'm like, I'm gonna take a bite of this. I'm sorry, guys. While Rob was talking, I took a bite. He immediately, I think, texted me back a picture of me taking a bite of like my sandwich, something I couldn't get to. He's good. He's good. He'll get you.
So I want to thanks for joining us, Bespin. I was using these stories
just me into it. I'll do most things if I'm bullied.
When you're bullied. Well, and how are you feeling, by the way?
I'm a lot better now. You can probably hear it. I'm still like a bit nasally or whatever, but yeah, Monday was the worst day. That was rough. I'm doing well now. I've wrote enough articles since I've been home, and
excellent
on the mend.
Excellent. So
this guy, hold on, Santa. This guy, he's sitting on a couple of things I want him to put out, and then he's over covering the drivel from the show he was on with me. I'm like, no, put out your stories, man. Before somebody.
The reason I cover your stories is because, like yesterday, I didn't even talk to you yesterday, or whatever. And I go on Twitter, and there's all these tweets about you from the aggregators. Yeah. And then I watch the show. I'm like, this isn't even what he said. You know, like it's a constant thing. So I feel as if.
No, I do appreciate it.
Quotes.
I appreciate the coverage. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll get there. There's two really good stories that I think prove the point of how people take inferences and run with them. And there's a third one on the cusp that's in the thumbnail as well. And it's based off of some speculation. But Rosario says, I've not heard anything about Mandalorian season 2. and currently no talks, right? So that's the title. And if you actually go and read the story, you can see how to support Bespin. You can go to Patreon, and I'm a patron of Bespin's. It's easy. You just sign up there. It's good. Or you can donate on Ko-Fi. The nice thing about Ko-Fi is they don't take any money. It just goes straight to Bespin. It's a good thing. But there you go. It says she spoke with Entertainment Weekly's podcast about the first season. And it says, let's just get down to her quote. It says, even now, with the strike over, there's no work really to be done. Everyone's already at that point of let's circle back at the end of the year. And I'm like, oh, thank God, because I need a moment to keep taking all this in, seeing reaction before I jump back into it. Which I hope we do, that we get to. And they keep talking to her. She says, we're supposed to be having dinner soon, the whole cast, with Star Wars, right? The Ahsoka thing, which will be really nice because I haven't seen everyone. I was very jealous seeing everyone at some of the cons recently, which I wasn't able to be at. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone. So it's on, it says, as the topic of the second season faded away, there's a reference to the Night Sisters that featured in the series. We'll get the witches together and we'll see what we've got to do. She's just having a banter back and forth. The takeaway from all this was that she hasn't heard anything about a season 2 like being cast. She doesn't have a contract. She doesn't have anything concrete to run off of, which was enough for people to say, oh, season 2's canceled.
Mm-hmm.
Not happening. It's off the table. See what happens when you put out crappy Star Wars. They don't make more Star Wars. Those some of the stuff that I've seen on the internet as a result of that. Not only your story, but different variations of it that came out from different sources, right? Only to have a couple days later, on January 9th, we could see Bespin, you posted another story. It says, they confirm Ahsoka season 2 is in development. And the first time we saw this was off of there's been 2 stories come out of it, really. The first was about Mando movie, which we'll talk about in a second. But the second was that image that Dave Filoni posted. And, kind of reaffirming that season 2 is going to happen. Now, does that mean it's greenlit? Well, we don't want to get Jason started because Jason get on a tangent and just argue with you about what greenlit means. But
because I know what it means. I mean, there's a difference between us and Star Wars fans. That's why everybody's always mad because they always think that because something is in development, it means it's being made tomorrow. And then they're like, why didn't it come out? Well, because it was never greenlit, because it was never actually accepted. It's just that simple.
We all know that Lucasfilm should not be announcing it if it's not greenlit.
Yeah.
Well, like Hollywood, like trades, cover things that it's the Rey movie. We knew that was in development for like 2 years before they formally announced it.
Yeah.
So that's
same thing with Stephen Knight. Like, I don't think they wanted to even acknowledge Stephen Knight. And then I think they just had to because it got out in the trades and they were like on the spot and they're like, yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. But and this is to my point. And the reason I'm hazing Jason is because of that great show where you guys argued about greenlit for like 2 hours. That was awesome. It was so much fun.
Whatever, Santa.
I hate that word though. I hate the word greenlit now.
Greenlit.
Like I watched Jason's show the other day and he just banged on about it for 20 minutes. I turned it off. I was like, I can't do it. It's giving me PTSD.
Well, that's the first words of green lightsaber, which is Luke Skywalker, which means you hate Luke Skywalker and we hate you now.
Hashtag not my Luke.
Hashtag not my Bespin.
That's fair.
It's perfect. It's perfect. But
Got you.
It is indicative of how people run with their own interpretations of a story that don't necessarily tie back to reality. Greenlit does have a definition. For most people, they're like, they don't understand that definition. I fall into that category, even though Jason's, as Best was said, he's banged on about it plenty. I still ignore most of it and just like, yeah, whatever. It's greenlit. But I think that's how most people look at it. But there is a definition to it. And when it gets to the end of the day and we look at what is actually like being produced, there is a difference. There is a difference. So it's an important distinction, but one that
Dave Filoni's job is the biggest distinction in the whole thing, though. Like, that's what I pointed out. It's like creative development of George Lucas post affairs or something like that. I can't remember what his name is, but it's something ridiculous. But it's like, yeah, he's a creative developer.
He's chief creative officer, right?
Is it chief creative officer, PD?
Yeah. But it's important, and we're going to talk about it in another second here as well. Oh, look, Meg, you've made it. Good to see you. Do we have audio from Meg?
No,
she's muted. She's muted. I see the little mute over her microphone. She's got to find the unmute.
Yeah, let the men talk for once. Go ahead, Santa. Sorry she interrupted you.
No. Meg will find the unmute button eventually. She'll make it. But I'm teasing because she's not able to defend herself. But so we do get in the announcement of the movie something to the effect of, while they're working on Ahsoka season 2, is sort of not a direct reference to Ahsoka season 2 being done, but was sort of alluded to, right? Then Dave Filoni posts, and I don't know, did you put it in this story, Bestman?
No, this is from the Mandalorian Grogu announcement.
Got it. Yeah, so there's the Mandalorian Grogu announcement comes out, and you probably got it in here. If I would actually read it, to your point, right? If I would read it, I might learn something, right? It says the Mandalorian Grogu was confirmed to be entering production sometime this year, but there was no window for the start of filming on Ahsoka's second season. However, it's likely filming is still very far away, as the series creator Dave Filoni is still whittling away at the script and helping produce the aforementioned Mandalorian movie, which is a Jon Favreau led project, right? In addition to crafting his own theatrical film. The second season of Ahsoka felt like a no-brainer. I completely agree with that. And it says, I'm surprised it took them this long to confirm their intentions of a season 2, right? The first season performed well, not to maybe the heights of some other Disney Plus Star Wars content, but it performed well for 2023.
No Darth Vader, it performed all right.
I know. I'm just like, okay, what do I do with that? Just
Kenobi, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader fighting is a really, really big deal. And so Ahsoka not having Kenobi numbers is like, yeah, of course it's not going to do that though, no matter what it does.
Oh yeah, but for 2023, it performed relatively well for Disney Plus and for Star Wars. Maybe not the heights of 2020, 2021 Star Wars, but for 2023, it did fairly well. And that's a whole different discussion about the state of the health of Star Wars and viewership and so on and so forth. But I'll leave that neither here nor there. It says, I wonder as to when Lucasfilm and Disney are eyeballing a release of the second season. So the Mandalorian Grogu, and which is, I believe, the working title of the movie, right? Maybe it'll be the name of the movie. Maybe it won't. We'll see. But at least that's the working title.
It's the most Disney Star Wars title of all time. I mean, if Disney didn't own Star Wars and they just made a movie you never heard of called The Mandalorian and Grogu, you'd be like, yeah, it's a Disney movie. Doesn't it sound? It sounds like it. I'm not a huge fan. It's effective, but I think it's fairly boring.
Yeah,
for me. But it does. It's effective. That's why I'm like, yeah, whatever.
It is 100% effective, and it, at least as a placeholder, a minimum, it does well to tell you what it is. What's that movie Jon Favreau is working on? Oh, it's The Mandalorian and Grogu. Okay,
yeah,
it's just that simple, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Astromech Jeremy, good to see you. Says, yeah, but who's the movie about?
Yeah.
Right.
Cara Dune. Cara Dune, most likely.
Ochi of Bastoon.
Oh, Cara Dune and Ochi have a wild road trip. Right.
Ochi's wild road trip. Yeah. Well, it's National Lampoon movie.
But she's trans now, and her name is Cara Dude. Those guys are gonna go crazy when that happens.
Yeah.
Nice to meet everybody.
Hello, Santa.
Hey, there's Meg. Good to hear you.
You booted her up, Santa.
I was having some technical difficulties.
It's good to have you on the show today, Meg. Thank you for joining.
Just gotta hit it, Meg. Just gonna and say, "Come on, baby, hold together."
Look, again, I find myself kind of awestruck that this community has given me the opportunity to make friends with some of the best Star Wars folks, in my opinion, except Jason.
No, it's fact. It's fact.
Getting to hang out with Bestman Bulletin, Star Wars Meg, and the Making Star Wars show. How cool is that? How cool is that? Is it like
not bad? I mean,
it's pretty. Bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Anyhow, the story evolves this week, right? So it started off with this announcement about Mando and Grogu, and we'll come back to that in just a moment. But then it continues on with that famous image that we've all seen. And let me pull over. Let me get to the Twitters, because there's a version of this that is fantastic. Somebody took the initiative, right, to do this. Oops, hold on, close that. Yeah, I got to turn on the sound here. Sound. Okay, play. Right. Ferp. So somebody took Jason. You put it on your thumbnail about pull the finger.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody actually did it, which I think is fantastic. But anyway, so this comes out. That's
image. My cousin, by the way.
Jason. I mean Brian.
Yeah, Brian Moore's my cousin.
Who spells his name like I do. And it says the story continues if you look at the actual text there. So
Vespa's my cousin.
If we take just as the example, right? You go within a time frame of a week, we go from a story that says, Rosario's like, I haven't heard anything, not in talks, blah, blah, blah. Ahsoka season 2's canceled. It's not happening. It's confirmed. Rosario confirms it. To Disney announcing the Mando Grogu movie, and then Dave Filoni posting this picture, right? Or writing this picture, right? So this is how Star Wars news. Jeez.
It's not me. Look.
Jason.
I'm just here holding my hands. All right.
JD says, yeah. Yes.
We're all people here. It's natural. It's okay. No need to be embarrassed, Anna. We all do it.
But look, it happened with Ahsoka, and it somewhat happened with Mandalorian season 4, and it's happening a little bit with the Rey movie.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, the same things. And if you watch the Star Wars news outlets, they keep doing this swing back and forth where something's canceled, something's not canceled, something's a movie, something's a show, something's a this, something's that. And it's all based off of a lot of inferences that people make. So we talked about the Ahsoka.
It's not me, dude. It's not me. Mute me. I'm innocent.
It's killing me. It's the loop.
You guys. So Mandalorian season 4. Jason, you posted mid last year, that there were some thoughts during the strike. There was some ruminations that people were considering Mandalorian season 4 transitioning to a movie. right?
Yes.
So you took a bit of a victory lap on that when it came out that says Mandalorian Mandalorian movie by Jon Favreau. That news came out this week, and you did a bit of victory lap because, as rightfully so, you did post that months and months ago.
Yeah, over the summer. It was funny. Somebody wasn't being mean to me on Reddit for once, but they were like, the show's really fell off since the summer. And it's like, well, there was a strike and there was nothing to talk about, but I did probably get the only big thing to get during that time, and it was that. And I was like, hey, what do you want me to do? But yeah, and like when I heard that, it was just like it was a plan. It was like I don't mean to make it sound like, you know, House of Cards or something, but it was it was like one of the very few times there was anything like that had strife involved with it in the company, where some people wanted something, other people didn't want to do it, and then there was like a little bit of conflict about trying to push it forward. And but just to be clear, the Obaid Chinoy manufactured controversy that happened, but on the internet, had absolutely nothing to do with when it actually did come out. It's one of the things that I learned. It was already on the trajectory to be announced.
Okay,
well,
and Snyder,
Snyder was saying it was supposed to be the end of last year, right?
Yeah. So
if anything, it was late. It wasn't like rushed to stop. Hey, there's Sheev right there.
Hey, Sheev, how you doing, dude?
Good to see you on the in the chat, my friend. And it just so you know, if you haven't looked at Discord, Sheev, I sent you a link. If you'd just like to stop in and say hi to folks, you're more than welcome to join us. It'd be great to hear from you as well. So thanks for stopping in. Which is good too, because the Rey movie controversy with Charmin was kind of leading all of the news. So Star Wars comes out and they make these announcements, and all of a sudden, this is damage control. This is that. Again, these are all inferences made. People are doing, whether movie is greenlit, whether a show is canceled, whether a movie is happening, whether this all inferences based off of other things people see. Mm-hmm. If you just take the news itself for what it is, we never. It's not like we're being blown back and forth. If you just take what they give us and you read the content of the stories, you can see for yourself that none of this stuff has much weight when you get to these stories. The thing is, Rosario is either playing the deal where she's working out the details and doesn't want to release things, or she wasn't involved in any discussions, because Ahsoka season 2, in all honesty, it probably a good ways off yet.
The thing to remember with the Rosario comments as well is that the interview took place last year. It's just that it got released now. So she may have had discussions in the new year. Like she said, then it was all quiet after the strike. They pretty much just pushed everything for the new year. And that also what could have happened to the Mandalorian and Grogu announcement, is that they just decided to take the holidays off, essentially. And that's how we've got it now.
Makes sense, especially because if you did it before, everybody would go to Christmas on a holiday, and then that would feel like a whole different time. So by doing, I think doing it after actually was better for them in that way, because now everything's back to business and rolling. So there is like momentum instead of that halt in momentum, which is what you want when you're doing social media kind of traction stuff. So,
well, they've certainly kind of taken over control of the narrative, because not only do we have that, but the discussion about the Mando movie led to a lot of speculation about the series, the season being canceled. And Jason, I think it was last night, yesterday, this morning, and Bespin reported on it this morning that look, it's rumored now that there is a season 4 of Mando, and credit to Meg as well on her reporting. did a fantastic job of pointing out that we didn't know that season 4 was canceled. Nobody has said that season 4 wasn't going to happen. And keep in mind, and I thought Meg's video on this was spot on. And I messaged you earlier in the week, Meg, when you posted the video, how well she covered the story, because now we get this story. It's rumored to have six episodes, and the movie would be the finale of those episodes. So get back into Bestman's story. It says, following the announcement of Mandalorian Grogu on Monday, confusion around whether it be developed alongside the fourth season or replace it. Said Deadline claimed the fourth season was still in development, but there's been no update from the trades or Lucasfilm, despite fans hoping for some clarity. The fourth season of Mandalorian was already written by the time of release of Mandalorian Season 3, according to Jon Favreau, and that's what I understood as well. It says the fourth season was due to begin filming tail end of September last year, but indefinitely delayed due to the strikes. I heard in November, this Bestman, that the fourth season was gearing up for February 2024 start. Mere days before the Mandalorian and Grogu announcement, two sources reached out to tell Bestman that the situation had changed. Filming was no longer planned for February. One said a new window for filming, the other didn't know. He talked to Jason and heard, and they chatted, right? And unfortunately, the endeavor wasn't fruitful. Mando Grogu says, as I mentioned, I heard of a window. Still looking at the information, seeking more confirmation. So at least for now, can't share what he's heard. None of it.
And I got, and on without being specific, on your window, Bestman, I got another hit on your window for it, which has made me go, is that the series starting or the movie?
That's where I think.
And I think it's the series, but is it the series or the movie?
Yeah. I write it in this. I think that window is the show, and then the movie would be in like the fall, basically.
Into the then that would make a hell of a lot of sense, honestly, if that's what is happening.
So this is what's quoted from Jason. Bestman quoted him here saying, one of the concepts has come out is count this as a rumor. We have no confirmation, and certainly Lucasfilm hasn't announced anything, that the plan was to do 6 episodes of Mando, the season 4, and then for the movie to come in to be the conclusion of that. Yeah, the rumor is, and I've heard this now from two people inside Disney, and the question is this still relevant? Because this was, when from the same sources that I was hearing about Mando being a film, is that they're like, 6 episodes, and then the 2-part finale concept is then transformed into a full-on live-action film. So, and the question I still have is I read it, and I didn't do it. Like, if I had that solidly in my hands, that would have been like the title of my show. But right now, that's why I'm like, it's a rumor, because I got 2 people going, this is what I'm hearing that's happening. But I'm not telling you that's what it is, because I don't 100% know that that's the plan now. And I'm like, okay, thank you. But 2 different sources that have been fruitful throughout the years. So I imagine it's somewhat likely to be the case, but rumor. That's why it's a rumor as opposed to a pertinent, I am telling you guys, this is it, kind of situation.
I think as well with the window that I heard about when we spoke about, I think that leads itself to what you've been hearing as well. Because if it, like I said, the movie would have assumed would have been in the back end of the year, probably the start of the fall, right?
Yeah.
So if it's going where we think it's going, it's probably the show, because when we spoke about it, like the people who were going to be working on it weren't told, hey, your situation has personally changed. You're now doing this project instead of this, whatever it may be. So. And like the Deadline and wherever, and Lucasfilm themselves didn't say season 4 isn't happening, or the Mandalorian Grogu is a streamlined version. That's what season 4 morphed into. It's So at this current time, that it stands to reason that yes, season 4 still exists in some way, whether it be a shortened one. It still seems to be a reality.
And financially, it makes a lot of sense because they're essentially rolling the film production into the series production. So they're kind of getting a series and a film together. I mean, not entirely. Obviously, it would be the most expensive season of The Mandalorian if you consider it that way. But it's still like that does cut down the cost of the budget of that film considerably, considering that so much of the stuff would probably be made for the series up front.
It's like when you film films back to back during the same production. You know, you can pretty much, you can say it's half the budget for one movie, half the budget for the other, but it's, you know, it's not going to be.
Yeah,
it's easier to keep costs down.
So let me frame something, and then I'm going to cue up Meg to ask the question, because she did a great job in her video today of really kind of addressing the question. But let me kind of cue it up first, because there was another piece to this Mandalorian bit where Jon Favreau's movie plus Dave Filoni's movie are 2/3 of a trilogy. Could you, in context of that, call Mandalorian season 4 the other part of that trilogy? So season 4, John's movie, Dave's movie trilogy, or does it make sense that John's movie, Dave's movie, plus another movie before or after Dave's movie?
That's how that's what was alluded to me, but it's all conceptual.
Yeah,
it's all like based on performance.
So the other question, and Meg, if you could jump in, that would be great. Is how do they? I don't want to steal Meg's question because she asked it so well about the context for the casual viewer to be able to watch season 4.
So do you mean like, what's kind of the question?
Well, you in your video today, when you're talking about Mandalorian season 4 and then the movie, for the casual fan to watch the movie with maybe or maybe not seeing the show, does that raise a problem?
I honestly think no, because by default you would have had to have seen the first 3 seasons anyway, because I think it's a well-established fact that Mando and Grogu are Disney Plus characters. They've never been featured in anything on the big screen. I can't imagine most people who are going to go see it have no idea who these characters are, so I don't see it as too much of a problem. I also kind of theorize that the movie, given the title, is going to focus on these characters' backstories more as well, so they're probably going to build on the flashbacks we saw for Mando in season 1 and then Grogu's Book of Boba / season 3 flashbacks.
That's good. It's really good. And if you think about it, as long as they frame the movie well, do you need to have watched the original trilogy to go into The Phantom Menace and understand what that movie's about?
No.
Do you need to have watched the prequels or the original trilogy to go into The Force Awakens and kind of understand what that movie's about? Although all of those stories tie together into a big arc, and some people argue whether the sequels fit into that arc or not, but whatever. There's no requirement that says to pick up on a movie you need to have watched all the stuff that come before.
They won't do that for the theatrical film. They will just reintroduce the characters in the first 5-10 minutes. You'll understand who they are and where, and all that's going to matter is where they are in that moment. If he's taking his little dude and teaching him how to be a bounty hunter, that's all you're going to need to know for that movie. They won't need to.
Do you want to hear?
Sorry.
Do you want to hear a really funny story?
Yeah.
I probably shouldn't say this because I don't know if the person in question would want this story out there, but it's harmless and it's very funny. But I went to see The Force Awakens with a couple of my cousins, and one of them had only ever seen The Phantom Menace and nothing else. So in her head, I don't think she understood who Luke was. So when Rey finds Luke and the film ends, she's like, that was amazing, but how did he survive being stabbed by Darth Maul. And then it clicked that she thought old Luke was Qui-Gon.
Qui-Gon? Yeah.
Yeah, good, fair. And I think that's a great story to illustrate where people are with Grogu, for example, right? He's baby Yoda. He's young version of Yoda when Yoda was just a little tiny baby. There's still people who think that, even though the timeline makes no sense. And we had an argument, a discussion or whatever on my show yesterday about who do mainstream audiences today, do they know Grogu or do they know Yoda? And like we were talking about it, and I asked my kids, and they were talking about it. My kids are like, "Yeah, no, all my kids, my friends know who Grogu is. Nobody knows who Nobody remembers Yoda now." Isn't that crazy? Isn't that a weird like?
So
thing?
annoying though, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
As a content creator, when you're looking for pictures, like Yoda pictures, you can't type in Yoda without Grogu coming up first.
Yeah, because that's what people look for. Because he's adorable. He's adorable.
I like Brian's question. Did Keller and Beck survive Order 66? Well, we know that he survived the first part, but after that, we don't know what his fate is. Good question. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to make a prediction for the Mando movie, and people can come back to this stream and say if I was right or wrong. But I think if Ahmed Best is Kelleran in the movie, if they do more of the flashback, then I predict Jar Jar Binks is also going to be in that film.
I would love that. That would make sense, and it would be good. You ring another bell in my head, and I saw it on Twitter. I think you posted to it, Meg. There is a set piece of Naboo. It's clearly Naboo, right? And you can see the hangar there. And you said something to the effect Naboo is either in Mandalorian or Andor.
Where was this from?
I think I said Acolyte or Andor.
Oh, Acolyte.
And it was either Jason or Bespin who said they filmed at Hever Castle in 2022.
Oh, the Hever Castle. That was for Andor.
Yeah, it's for Andor. They were supposed to shoot it there, but then something happened. I think it was very close to when they got shut down for strikes.
Yeah. I was ready. I was Fletch in the trash can watching like two little holes I had for my eyes, and it didn't happen.
You remember as well, Jason? I had those like set pictures from outside of Pinewood, and they had the
they matched
EE crowd. They matched. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, but we also speculated that could be Chandrila by some chance. It could it's like with Star Wars. You'll go down to the Mando set, and that's definitely Tatooine. And they're like, no, this is Tatooine with mud on it now. And you're like, okay.
But the picture Meg posted on Twitter is clearly Naboo. I mean, there's no question. It's not or.
No, there's always a question. There's always a question. I know. I'm with you. I ran the story. Naboo is in Andor, like probably, but there's always a question. Nothing is ever certain until it is. And there's no code to break. There's not right now. I'm with you. I mean, if I was betting, it's most likely Naboo, but it's like a 99% chance it's Naboo, and it's not a 100%. And we haven't seen extras from the sets. We haven't seen anything else to give us like, you know what I mean? Wait, what is that's a model from the Phantom Menace.
What is this? Oh yeah,
that's
this
a model from the Phantom Menace in 1997.
Phantom Menace, yeah. Okay, I thought again this is an example of me not paying attention because I saw Meg post this and I thought it was current.
Yeah.
No, but this is just the
question is how do they get the little people in there, and where do they find the little people who fit inside of it?
There's another good story about somebody we know who was actually in the hangar with the N1s there.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope the base didn't ruin any of the precious Naboo starfighter artifacts.
Do you know how they get in there, Jason?
How?
Jellyfish UAP.
Oh, which is bird poop, by the way. It's bird poop. And I'm not even joking. It's bird poop on a camera. and it's like going. It's a helicopter with the camera on the bottom and like a glass case, and the bird poop is sliding down, and everybody's like, it's like jellyfish, and you could see it hit the light, and you could see exactly how the translucency hits the light. It makes me laugh. It's my favorite UFO story of the year because it's poop.
Did you see the one in Mexico where the dogs acknowledge it and try and kind of jump up at it?
No, send it to me though if you have it. I want to see it. Sorry, Sam.
So we've touched base on two, and I know there's more discussion to have on these, but I want to tie all three stories together.
Okay.
There's the Ahsoka season 2 wasn't happening. It is happening, and all the stories that came from content creators, Twitter, the internets that came up with the stories on inference. Then there's the Mandalorian season 4. It's replaced with the movie. Mandalorian season 4 canceled. You can find those videos. You can find the thumbnails. You can find the stories. Mandalorian season 4 canceled. Now, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. You're inferring that it's canceled, but nobody ever said it was canceled. And then the movie is happening. It's not happening. Yeah, Risman's poking the bear again. The next story, and I blame Bestman for this one because he's only feeding Matt Risman, right? He's showing his colors, his true colors, in his story about this movie, Mandalorian season 4, could perhaps. Where did you post it, Bestman? I need to find it.
Post it, Bestman, you idiot.
About the movie getting delayed. Where did you put that?
Oh, the Ray movie.
Yeah,
the Ray delay.
I'm assuming it's in the Ray article or something, but it's that the Stephen Knight hasn't.
That's it.
The draft, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It just makes sense if that movie was going to get delayed, though. Like it says in the announcement that the Mandalorian Grogu is leading the film slate. You know. Yeah. This movie's still in development. Didn't Daisy as well, like today, say she doesn't know when that movie's coming out?
She did, but there was also speculation. Well, and it was even stated at one point that the Ray movie that was Daisy, right? Saying her understanding was that movie was going to be the next one on the slate. And that led to a bunch of stories about her being her movie being the next Star Wars movie theatrical release. And then this movie comes out, or this announcement about John's Mando and Grogu movie, and that's the next movie coming out. But it doesn't mean that the May and December release schedule isn't still on the table, does it?
I think May and December can happen. I just think that where we all believed Ray was May, it's likely now December. And I think it's somewhat fit in considering the movies that Daisy did lead all came out in December. So it feels fitting to me.
Doesn't it, I mean, to you, I mean, just your like gut feeling, Bestman, doesn't this feel like a year delay though?
I don't know. It depends what happens with that script, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Nothing's happening right now, so it's like I'm just of the opinion. I don't see how that's. I just doubt. I hope I'm wrong, but it feels like that script isn't going to be in for like 9 months.
Right, but I don't. If Ray's movies, if it's not the May date and it's going to be delayed to December, they don't need to get that script done by the end of the year. They don't need to get it done for the fall. They can shoot that movie at the start of 2025.
Yeah.
It gives them more time and opportunity now to do that, whether they want to continue with Stephen Knight or whether they want to bring somebody else on. Like you said, he hasn't completed a draft as of yet, and we know he's currently focusing a lot of his efforts on the Peaky Blinders film, as he mentioned himself, that's what he was doing over the later months of last year, so he can shoot that in the summer.
And that could also be a little bit of cover on his part too, if he's working on two things at the same time, which happens as well. I'm not saying that's what's happening, but that could happen. You don't want to talk about Star Wars. You're not allowed to. You're under NDA. You can't say anything. They're going to freak if you say anything at all. You got two things that you're working on. Peaky Blinders is the thing. I'm just focusing on that thing.
Right,
That's
but
possible.
it could also be that. So, you know, when this Rey movie was initially in development, it wasn't supposed to be the next movie, right? Like, you still had Taika. Taika was supposed to be next.
Rogue Squadron, then Taika,
Yeah, right.
then
Yeah,
Rey.
and then
was a plan at one point.
yeah, and as time went on and development, you know, continued on the Rey movie, it took precedent. It became the movie, and I think that was likely the case until probably the end of last year,
Yeah.
where they decided to go this route. So, like I said, I think it's only benefits the Rey movie having a delay. Like, people use delay as a
Can you say it though? Can you say the Rey delay for Santa when you say that?
Rey delay.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, which, by the way, was Palpatine's clone son's given last name? Did you know that? Palpatine Jr. Delay. And then, so her real actual birth name is Rey Delay.
People
Rey
just
Delay
use
Skywalker.
Like, the word delay as a negative thing.
No,
like, but it's seen as that, right? Like, oh, it's delayed, or Lucasfilm are bad, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You know, but this is a good thing. If Knight hasn't done enough work on it, if they aren't happy with where they are in the process of that movie, having an extra 7-8 months to work out a script, the direction of that script, who the writer's going to be, I think it works out fine. Like, if they're in a comfortable position with The Mandalorian and developing it into 6 episodes and then a movie, because they also, like with The Mandalorian, they write whilst they're still on set. That's why it was always going to be a massive problem for them to attempt to shoot it during the WGA strike, not the actor strike, but WGA. So, yeah, like, I think it's fine. I have no problem with the Rey movie. I don't think it'll go December 2027. I would rather it would, because I like the idea of John's movie in May and then Dave's in the December, like a 2-parter. Like,
that's the best way to go for sure.
That's the best way to go. Like I said, I feel like I was obviously not going to do anywhere near these sort of numbers, but it's the Mandalorian's version of the Endgame Infinity War thing. You know, you got this big epic 2-parter, like, close together.
Momentum. If you break, that's one of the problems with it. I mean, like Rogue One I believe Rogue One made more than The Last Jedi. But I honestly don't think that the budget of the box office of either of those movies had a lot to do with
how I don't think it did
bad either of them was. It just had to do with the placement of the release in proximity to The Force Awakens.
I almost made a bad choice, because Meg posted something in the Discord and I almost shared it. And I was like, oh no, don't share that. Did you just delete it, Meg?
I did just delete it. It was just in reference to what Jason was saying.
Oh, it was funny. It was funny, but you very much cannot share it.
I cannot share it on stream, no.
No, that would be a bad choice. It would be very bad. So let's just tie all this together now, because what we know versus what we can infer are two different things. And what comes out in the stories many times is what we inferred is the story versus what we know. What we know is that Lucasfilm have announced a Mandalorian movie led by Jon Favreau. Mm-hmm. We know that Lucasfilm has announced a movie with Rey. That's not and what was the other one that I had? Mandalorian, the Rey movie.
Dave Filoni's movie.
Oh, yeah. No, Ahsoka season 2 is in some stage of development. That's what we know.
And after talking to a couple of different people too, there's something else that we don't know about, and it's going to allow us to, I think, separate the fakers from the reelers when all is said and done here. Because watch, in the next couple of days, we're gonna start to see like the grifty types, the fakers, the fake it till you make it guys too. They're gonna start making up stuff, and then watch, this other thing's gonna come and it's gonna prove all of that wrong.
Very well.
That's what's gonna happen. I promise.
And it's the pattern, Jason. It's what we've seen over and over and over again. And why would you think that it's not going to happen again? And
because the audience doesn't care. Their audience doesn't care, because they're like, I like it when that guy tells me the thing I want to hear, and that's just where we're at in life. So
it's the spin on it that makes it frustrating. Like, it was canceled due to this, or I don't want to throw shade at anybody. I don't want to be
throw it at Meg. I think she's better than us.
If I'm throwing shade at anybody, it's you, Jason. That's the only person I would pick on. But
Slim Shady's in the throw it at Slim Shady. He's in the chat.
Slim Shady. No, it's just that can we infer that Mandalorian season 4 is or is not happening? Well, there's some smoke out there saying it is happening, but do we have proof? No. Can we infer that it's canceled? No, we don't know, because nothing said that it is canceled. It's not happening. Can we infer that the Rey movie is delayed? Yeah, we can infer it. Do we have any proof? Is there any solid story that says this movie is delayed? No. Can we, you can keep doing that over and over again with all of the Star Wars news. And it's important. It's something we've talked about many times, how there's responsible speculation and there's irresponsible speculation. And when you start attributing motives to things off of your own opinion, like this was canceled because everybody hates it, or because Dave Filoni won an arm wrestling match with Jon Favreau, so he gets to do his thing first, or Kathleen Kennedy is exerting some sort of extortion over top of John, so she gets to do, like, there's all of this kind of nonsense out there that makes no sense whatsoever.
What you have to understand is, as Kathleen Kennedy is going to retire after Indiana Jones because she wants to retire on a huge success. She's actually
no. She was already fired.
Fired.
Indiana Jones, but it was either going to publicly would either happen before or after.
Oh, okay.
It was the worst story. That was so bad.
That one's comical, especially because that movie bombed so hard, and then she's still there. So that's the aspect of it that we love, I think.
Mm-hmm. For me, I'm excited about the potential for all of it. Right, the potential for Mandalorian season 4, the potential for the movie, the potential for an Ahsoka season 2, and how it all plays out. I'm dying to see. One thing we know, or at least we think we know, and this is another bit of speculation Meg has been leaning into the last day or so, and there's a reason that Meg's been leaning into it, is when are we going to get a Bad Batch season 3 trailer? Do you guys have any indication, any smoke?
2 months before it comes out.
I'd
say 3. I'd say 3 months before it comes out.
3 months before it comes out.
Yeah.
And so let me. Meg seems to be leaning into perhaps it'll be coming in imminent. Yeah, maybe today. Next week.
But how many? Okay, here's the thing: is I don't follow Bad Batch. Okay, it's not really my thing in the big picture. I have now heard for about the last 6 weeks that Jennifer Corbett has teased you, and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not blaming you, Ben. I'm just saying in general. Jennifer Corbett today teased. Well, but it's like, how many times does she tease? You know what I mean? It's like, I think they're just talking about I think they're talking about milestones, and then people are like, that means the trailer.
Well, and she's excited about her show. She's excited. She wants to keep it in the conversation. She wants to keep it, current in Star Wars fans' minds, because at least the assumption is that is the next Star Wars content we will get.
So would we say February at the earliest?
For the trailer?
March? April? I don't know.
I just think Jason's jealous that Jennifer isn't teasing him.
That's fair. That's fair. How could we ever make it work, though? I would leak everything.
Well, that's true. That's true. But are we correct in and you know, the crickets are also an indicator. Like when all you hear are crickets. Are we correct in assuming that the Bad Batch is the next Star Wars project we will see on Disney Plus?
No, you got Young Jedi Adventures next month.
Valentine's Day.
Good
Everybody.
answer.
Jennifer, if you're not doing anything, we could watch it together, maybe. I have no idea actually who she actually is, other than that she's the producer of that show. I'm just being an idiot for the record.
Young Jedi Adventures is enjoyable. It's fun to watch. I'll put it that way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're insane. I mean, it's like you know, Barney has a captivating narrative if you actually watch it all.
There is a documentary on the guy who played Barney.
I think there's an A24 Barney movie coming out soon.
Is he like a serial killer, or is it
played by Daniel Kaluuya?
But
from Nope?
What's the Barney like?
I don't know.
Okay.
It just sounds like a weird time.
There's another story that I skipped over. I want to make sure we cover.
Oh, well, one last thing. I won't say anything else. Baymax says Young Jedi Adventures is great if you're 3. You know what was great when I was 3? Return of the Jedi. All right. There we go. Sorry.
There's one other story I skipped, and we had the Mike Porter dad joke. And just a heads up, Mike Porter, I took some liberties with your dad joke today. So if you guys don't like the Mike Porter dad joke, blame him. Joke thief. If you love the Mike Porter dad joke, give all credit to Mike Porter because he gave me the inspiration for it. So Mike Porter is fantastic. I love the guy. He's a good friend. But the other story I skipped over and is and let me just bring up Bespin Bulletin again so that we can make that present in everybody's mind. Please support Bespin Bulletin on Patreon or Ko-Fi, whatever your habit would be. Patreon, I find to be quite good, but there was some news that came off on Benioff and Weiss's pitch movie, and the short of it is that it was going to be about the First Jedi. Bespin, am I misrepresenting the story?
No, that's dead on. They were going to do the First Jedi movie, and they said they departed because Lucasfilm no longer wanted to do that idea. I think the most funniest thing about it is from multiple people now, we can tell that Lucasfilm have actively tried to make a First Jedi movie.
3 times, right?
3 times. The first time seemingly with this pair, the second time with David S. Goya, and I think Simon Kinberg was involved on it. And then, obviously, you now have James Mangold. And what I think is funny about the Mangold thing is that there was an interview last year, it might have been with THR Variety, where he said it was his idea. He like to do it, like his original idea to do this First Jedi movie. But we can tell that Lucasfilm have actively seek this for.
Or he was parallel thinking. They're like, yeah, come on in, give us your thing. We don't want to taint you with the things that didn't work. He does it. They say, okay, you're in. And then he sees the other stuff. That could have happened too. Right.
Yeah, but I don't think but again, he's pitches this original thing.
Yeah.
But we know it's been a project they wanted off the ground.
But I mean, what I'm saying is if like you and I, if they gave us a pitch meeting, we might sit down, keep that same thing, that same idea. It's a very obvious one. So the parallel thinking on it has to be pretty, up there. But yeah, the question is it Lucasfilm's idea and they just keep hiring people to do it?
Yeah, because they had Goya do a script month and he said they went no further than that. So you'd assume they have ideas of what they want in it, especially if they've tried pursuing it for a number of years. Yeah. They must have some preconceived ideas of what that should contain. And again, Benioff and Weiss were going to do a series of films, not just one.
It was 2 if successful, the third or more if successful, which is what I think they're doing with the Mando stuff right now too. By the way,
And I think it was from a few years ago when they departed. One of the articles then mentioned that because of the Netflix deal, they were supposed to write 3, but they were only committed to 2, and would write 2 and then wouldn't write the 3rd, basically, because of the Netflix stuff. But I don't know. Benioff and Weiss, they kind of pooped the bed in the last season of Game of Thrones, and their work outside of that hasn't been that great. Like I read,
but they get to go home and jump into that big thing of change that Scrooge McDuck jumps in. So I think they're going to be okay.
Well, we'll see what they can do. I think their new show comes out next month, right? On Netflix. The first thing that they've done, 3 Body Problem.
One, right?
Yeah, it's an adaptation of a book, I believe. So we'll see if they still got it. But like I said, I've read some of their scripts before in the past. Like There I Am Legend script. It was not good. So
it was not good. Okay.
I just put Sheev's GoFundMe back into the chat again. So I was distracted just a bit. But the First Jedi thing, look, there are people going into this again, trying to spin a story out of it as far as like drama between Benioff and Weiss and Lucasfilm. They're being very professional about it. There's no like public animosity. If there is any private animosity, that's between them, and it's nothing that I get worked up about. It's nothing that I get like sidetracked on. For me, what they actually produce and what they actually come out with is what I get excited about, and watching that content, consuming it, and maybe it's reading it. Those are the things I get excited about. I do get disappointed when things get canceled, they don't happen, or I can get frustrated when something gets announced and then nothing gets followed up on it. The Lucasfilm's PR seems to be inept, in my own opinion. But who am I? I'm some dude sitting in his basement, literally.
Well, your guy's sitting in your basement, and you know that.
I have a Mike Porter dad joke that and again, I've taken liberties with the joke. So Mike, please forgive me if I completely botch it. But here's the Mike Porter dad joke, Santa edition. It says, why were the squadron disappointed with their order? Well, because when they ordered wings, they got chicken wings instead of A wings, B wings, X wings, and Y wings. Like I said, Santa took liberties. Blame me. Blame me if it's bad. I'll take it.
We must have chicken walkers. They could have got chicken walkers too. Remember we used to call it that? Remember we used to call the ATSTs chicken walkers when we were kids?
Yeah. Guys, anything else as we talk about the news of the week over the past week? And my point was of today's show was not only to recap the news, and there's a ton of news to get excited about, is be careful about what you infer from a story, because it may or may not be true. And there's a good lesson that we've learned just by watching Lucasfilm over time. Wait until they say something before you actually like infer things, because a lot of times what we assume is truth, Lucasfilm has never said. And then we get upset when the thing is different than what we thought we knew. And they never told us that was what was happening. But
Lucasfilm is at the same time like dating a horrible person who's like, well, I never said I didn't want to go. That's kind of what they are too. They don't say things and then act like we're stupid when we take their implication to mean something because they're not clear enough. But that press release was good. That press release did a good job of saying, yes, obeyed Chinoy. Yes, Filoni's movie. Yeah, yes, Ahsoka is in development. Yeah, like they were making it clear it wasn't a clearing of it wasn't clearing the schedule and our whole like reformatting of everything that they were ever going to do. To their credit, but for the first time ever, they did that.
But also
even then, there's still stuff left off. But it was a good job for that.
Yeah, I think that the only critique I have of that post was they didn't address the Mandalorian season 4.
Yeah.
they could have just had it remains in development.
Well, that's the frustration that I mentioned, right? There's lots of things that
might not be settled.
Why not just be clear about it? And one of the things, just because of what I do for my day job and creating reports and programs and things, is I would love to see a what we call in the industry a dashboard that has all the projects listed, and then you've got just a couple of metrics on it. It makes it real easy to consume, like when's the expected due date, and is it on path or off path? Is it over budget, under budget? Like there's 3 or 4 bullet like data metrics that run across.
Never be that transparent, unfortunately. They just hope you forget.
No, but we don't. And that if there was a dashboard, you could go out and you could see that something changed from green to amber, or from green to red, or went from active to postponed. Like that would lead us to understand a lot more what's happening. And when you talk about a Mandalorian season 4 or Ahsoka season 2 or the Rey movie or anything else, you would at least have some metric to go off of, and not just some inference that somebody's made off of some story that then leads them to come up with some conclusions and then run with that as the facts. And then the whole community gets tied up in it. And without, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole again, but the whole thing with
Obey Jonah?
Yeah, it was is people are going to be convinced for all time, just like they were with Rian Johnson, that he intentionally set out to make fans mad, or that she's intentionally setting out to make Star Wars fans who are male upset or uncomfortable is the right word, right? And all of that becomes the narrative, the story, and the truth that people believe. And they're just, it's not, and it's tiring for me. And Jason was so kind this week. Give me a call on my phone, and we were able to talk. And
it was like this. Hello, Santa? It's okay. That's dumb. Cool.
Yeah. It's just nice when you have folks who you could talk to, and you kind of share where you are on things. And I've shared with you all some of the struggles I go through. It's good to have Bespin here today. I know you've been sick. We know Sheev's been in the chat today, and Sheev's banged up. And in the scope of things, there are terrible things going on in the world, and we get together for an hour or two once a week and talk about Star Wars. And how much fun is that? And I would rather talk about Star Wars than talk about some of the terrible things in the world. So thank you all for being here. Thank you all in the chat for being here. This is great. And 2024 is starting out to be a very interesting and fun year. Let's hope that the execution on these things gives us some excitement and builds some promise for the future Star Wars. I know that there are folks who are struggling with the current state of Star Wars. I know there are folks who are disengaged or who disappointed. And I just hope with every project that it leads more people in and gets more people excited. And the folks who just have a narrative to spin off of everything can go do their thing and have at it. I just hope that we're able to distinguish what is that and what is not,
Yeah, leave the narrative to the documentary filmmakers.
Jason. Jason, that's great. Bespin, anything that we should be looking for? You getting ready to release another story today, tomorrow, next week?
Today? Right now?
No, it's nothing right now. Like I said, there's a window. I think you probably already know the window. But there's a window where we think they're going to film. So it's just trying to confirm that for Mandalorian season 4. And then, there's other bits and bobs. I've said it, like there's Bad Batch stuff, which I was going to put out last month and I didn't because I was lazy. So, yeah.
Very good. Meg, what are you working on? Is there something you can tease for tomorrow's video?
I honestly don't know.
Very good.
No information just yet.
Well, thank you so much. We've had a lot of fun in the chat over the last day or so. Meg's a good sport, and we've had a lot in your video. The last few have been fantastic. I've enjoyed them tremendously. So thank you for what you do every single day, Meg.
They hurt my ears.
I know they do, Jason.
Meg,
Just for you.
I'm kidding, Meg. They sound great. They sound fine.
Very good. And Jason, I know you're.
I'm just working on me right now. You know.
Yeah.
I can't get in a relationship right now. I'm just kind of working on me.
Very good.
Nothing serious.
It's not going well though, is it, Jason?
No, it's going terrible.
No.
It's going terribly.
Well, there's things going on, but again, it's great to be here with you all. Thanks once more. And with that, I think we're going to wrap it up, call it a show, and we'll be in touch, right? So you guys, thank you all for being here. And Meg, Jason, Bestman, if you want to hang out for a few minutes after the show, you're more than welcome to. If you're going to fly out of here and get going, enjoy your weekend.
Yeah,
do that.
Screw you.
No.
I do have to fly, but thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Meg. Godspeed. Take care. For everybody, thank you all. And we will see you soon. Until next time, my friends. May the force be with you always. Bye-bye.